Good day, my name is Richard Lowe, and I'm a ghostwriter, and one of the things I write is memoirs. And I thought it'd be useful to give you some tips for your own memoir project. Because I write a lot of memoirs, and they're fun to write. So basically a memoir is an autobiography or a biography of your life or someone's life, and tells people what happened. One of the hardest things to do when writing a memoir is to figure out who your audience is and what's important. Who your audience is who you're writing to. And that's one of the most important steps in writing any book. Who is your audience? Because you can't write to everybody. And who is your audience will determine how you write the book, how you frame it, what kind of words you use, whether you're in first person or third person, whether you're in present tense or past tense, and things like that. So let's say your audience is high schoolers, then you might have a different set of terminology than if it was older people or seniors. Another thing you want to determine is your theme. What are you trying to get across? What message are you trying to get across? Are you trying to show how tough life is and how you overcame it? Are you trying to show the challenges of life and what you've gone through and the lessons you learned and how you've applied them so that others can learn from them? Are you trying to tell others that you were wronged by a number of people and you want to set the record straight? Did you do something famous and you want to tell people how you got there and what happened after that? These are all things that you need to decide at the beginning. What are you trying to tell people? It could be several things also. It doesn't have to be just one thing. One autobiography I wrote on an Afghani man, he wanted to tell people what Afghanistan was like before the United States and the Soviet Union started having a big proxy war there, where they were fighting each other, not with real weapons and guns, but eventually it was without weapons and guns, but covertly. And what it was like before that it was almost a paradise, and then it changed, and what happened during that time, and how hard it was, and how his family got away. And it was a very exciting book. It was very interesting. He had an exciting life. So he wanted to give those lessons. And another autobiography that I wrote, or biography in this case, of a person, was she had a very hard life, and she wanted to tell people how she overcame those challenges of her life. What did she do when her husband died, and when her son died, and when she had an illness and how she got over it, and when her business collapsed and she almost was homeless? What did she learn from these lessons, and how did she overcome them to become a businesswoman later on in life? This generates the focus of your book, and then you can have each chapter around that. And it's much more interesting than just saying, chapter 1, I did this, chapter 2, this happened to me, chapter 3, this person did this to me, chapter 4, some other stuff happened. That can be kind of dull. So if you look at the biographies that you like the best, you'll see that they typically have some kind of theme or overarching thing that they want to discover. A biography of Winston Churchill might show how he grew from where he started from through World War I, and basically was not considered a very good tactician and very good strategist, and had a lot of losses. And then he became the champion of World War II that kept Britain in the war. How did that happen? And what was behind that? And what lessons can be learned from that by other politicians and leaders and things? So those are two very important things, because you can't write about your whole life. You can't write, well, you can, but nobody's going to want to read a book that's 300, 400, 500, 600, 1,000 pages long about every single, I went to the store and I bought some stuff and it was good. And then Christmas was good, and I got a good present, but I was unhappy with somebody else for giving me a bad present, and so forth. So these are things that you want to change the focus of your book towards something. And remember, you can always write multiple volumes. You can always have two biographies, and one has one theme and one has another theme. That actually happens quite a bit. Or you might write a book about how you became a good business person, and then another book about how you were a great mother or father and how you raised a family, and what are the lessons you learned there. So these are important things when considering writing your memoir. What do you want to do with it? Who do you want to read it? What do you want them to get from it? And then tailor your book around that, and you'll do much better. The other thing is you want to keep your book positive. One thing that you do not want to do in a memoir is slander people. Yes, of course, people harm you in your life. Everybody gets harmed by other people in their life. That's just part of being alive on this planet. I've been harmed by many people, and I'm sure you have too. And that might be part of what made you grow. But you want to make that negative that somebody stole from you into a positive. What did you learn from that? What did you gain from that? Because anybody can write a book that's about the horrors of their life and their illnesses and their thing and so forth. But how did you climb out of that hole that you got into? How did you get out of financial difficulties? How did you survive after they kicked you off the football team and you lost all your money and you had to declare bankruptcy and you were literally almost homeless? How did you get back from that? That's what I want to read. And that's what a lot of people want to read, and that can be positive. That can be very helpful to people and very uplifting, and it will sell better than something that just says, this person hurt me, this other person hurt me, and this person hurt me, and that person hurt me, and this person hurt me. And it's like, well, okay. That gets a little tedious, and it doesn't really do it for a lot of people. Now, there obviously is an audience for that. And that's the lessons that I have for today, is define who your audience is, define your theme, and keep it on point, and try and have a theme that's positive and uplifting to people so that you can pass along your life lessons to somebody else and become a teacher or a counselor of a type in your book. Because you've got some great, I'm sure your life has had some wonderful moments that need to be preserved, and more power to you for writing your book. So get started on it, keep going, and get it done. And you'd be amazed at how you feel when it's done and how you enjoy it. My name is Richard Lowe, and I'm the owner of The Writing King, and I'm a ghostwriter. And I write memoirs and other things also. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to do more lessons. We'll go into more detail on some of these things over the coming months, and I hope you learn from them. And please leave some comments below to let me know what subjects you'd like me to cover about memoir writing. Are you having trouble with writing a memoir? Do you have something that's giving you fits? Do you have something that you want to ask a question like, should I do this legally? I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you what I understand, and so forth. And I'll be happy to answer some of those questions for you. Thank you very much for listening, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you.